bringing you realism for the masses. This is the Angel Espino Show. With me, your host, Angel Espino. Live. Welcome one, welcome all, welcome friends, welcome foes. This is, again, the Angel Espino Show. I am Angel Espino, and I have some really exciting news, and this is just broke yesterday, and I had to read it a couple times and really digest it before I made a video on this. Folks, this is almost, I would say, smoking gun level type of information. Okay, this is right up there. I mean, this is a major leak which has exposed nearly 2 million Chinese Communist Party members. And I posted over on psn-radio.com in our news section about this very story, because this is just an amazing thing that we all have to look into. The people and the corporations involved in this thing is just simply mind-boggling, and it really tells you how deep it really gets when it comes to the swamp. Folks, we're dealing right now with an amazing time we're living in. 2020 has been just an incredibly crazy year, to say the least. But what if it's just to warm up to 2021, right? What if it's going to get crazier? I don't know. But with this leak, I'll tell you this much. Following what I'm about to read for you guys, it's going to make you really think, because this is crazy. A major leak has exposed the details of nearly 2 million Chinese Communist Party CCP members who have been secretly embedded in some of the biggest companies, banks, universities, and government agencies globally. Now, according to reports by the Australians Sharri Markson, the leak contains a register with details of CCP members, including their names, party affiliations, positions, national ID numbers, and ethnicity. What's amazing, and I'm quoting here, about this database is not just that it exposes people who are members of the Communist Party and who are now living and working all over the world, from Australia to the US to the UK, said Markson, on Sky News Australia. He said this, by the way. But it's amazing because it lists the lid on how the party operates under President Chairman Xi Jinping. Now check this out. This is the amazing part of the leak. The leak reveals in details of 1.95 million CCP members, okay, around 79,000 branches of the CCP that have been set up inside Western companies. Members of these branches, if called on, this is important, pay attention, are answerable directly to the party and to Xi himself. So think about that. Yes, sir. Whatever you say, Mr. Xi Jinping. Yeah, we will do thy bidding, my lord. That's basically what happens. Now, reported among the companies mentioned, and this is going to be fun, are manufacturers such as Volkswagen. I drive a Volkswagen, so that's funny. And Boeing, Boeing airplane, Boeing, didn't they get billions in the bailout, Boeing? Shouldn't we take a look at maybe if something was sent to Xi Jinping? Let me see. Pharmaceutical companies such as Pfizer, who just came out with the vaccine, right? I don't know. I'm not a vaccine hater, if it's needed, if it's real. But there's a lot of people talking. I don't want to be a conspiracy monger. I don't want to be thrown off the YouTube or the internets. So I'm not going to go there with you guys. I'm just stating the facts here. This is what's going on. But Pfizer and AstraZeneca are both included in the list. Now, as well as banks such as HSBC and Standard and Chartered. Now, on the latter, the leak claims that around 600 people at these banks are members of the CCP. According to Markson, the data was originally extracted from the server in Shanghai by Chinese dissidents and whistleblowers in April of 2016. Now, who's been using it for counterintelligence purposes? Okay. These people have been using this for counterintelligence purposes, guys. Only this past September that the data was leaked, okay, to the Inter Parliamentary Alliance on China, a newly formed international bipartisan group made up about 150 legislators from around the world. Now, following that, the data was then released on an international consortium of media organizations who analyzed it over the past 2 months. Those outlets were Australia's The Australian, the UK's The Sunday Mail, the Belgium's Der Standard, as well as as an editor in Sweden. Now, the leak is the latest evidence of the extent of the CCP's espionage activities as it tries to increase China's influence and power globally. It also punctuates over warnings that have been raised about the extent of the Chinese espionage that has been made in recent months. Okay? Hint, hint, hint. This might tie into Hunter Biden. And Joe Biden, too. Now, that's just between us. Just so you understand, last month, former senior U.S. intelligence official turned analyst and author Nicholas, I'm probably going to butcher his last name, but his Eftimides, I don't know. Anyway, warned that Chinese espionage operations around the world were now off the scale. Nicholas, who wrote a book on China's intelligence operations back in 1994, stated that Chinese intelligence activities were much more pervasive now than when he wrote the book. Related, by the way, is Chinese espionage operations in U.S. are off the scale, warns analysts. So if you want to look that up, you can look that up on Google or DuckDuckGo, whichever. More importantly, Nicholas warned that the CCP had adapted a whole of society approach to acquiring foreign intellectual property, stating that this approach energizes all of society to support national, economic, and military development goals. Okay, now, the extent of the espionage is evident by over 1,000 Chinese researchers with suspected links to the Chinese People's Liberation Army, PLA for short, that have left us, or left the U.S., since law enforcement agencies started cracking down on technological and economic espionage. During a discussion hosted by the Aspen Institute out in California, the Department of Justice DOJ Assistant Attorney General for the National Security, John Demers, said that these Chinese military-linked researchers left the country after the department started filing its many criminal cases against suspected Chinese operatives. These arrests started earlier this year when at least 4 Chinese researchers were arrested and charged with visa fraud for lying on their applications. These Chinese researchers usually get charged with this for failing to reveal their ties to the Chinese government. Gotta reveal your ties, guys. This is hysterical. You can't write this kind of stuff for even Comedy Central. I mean, according to Demers, these arrests were the tip of the iceberg. Shout outs to Leo and Kate. That led to the DOJ's National Security Division to open an investigation to eventually uncovered a vast network of Chinese researchers with PLA ties. This sentiment is echoed by National Counterintelligence and Security Center Director William Ivanina, who said that there were even more Chinese operatives lurking in the United States. In particular, he suspects that many are coming into the country under the guise of being graduate-level students in universities and colleges. Okay. Let's not kid ourselves. They're all coming here to be behest of the Chinese government intelligence service, Evanin said. They're going to specific universities to study specific fields or areas that are going to benefit the Chinese Communist Party and the military of China. Now, remember, guys, a year ago when they arrested the 3 nationals plus the Harvard University professor, and they were in possession of what now we believe is COVID-19, or a early version of COVID-19. They're dealing directly with Xi Jinping. That's right. So when President Trump says, the Chinese virus, this came out of China, he's telling you the truth. We know this because we've arrested these people, okay? The media, CNN and these people, they don't want to report that. They're sold to the Chinese Communist Party of China. They're sold out to them. Fredo Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, all these leftist governors, Gavin Newsom from California, all these people are sold out. Look what happened with Eric Swallowswell and his communist Chinese girlfriend Feng Feng. I mean, it's becoming more and more clear, folks, that China is a bigger threat than Russia at this point, okay? And Russia may still be a huge threat, but China right now, as it is right now, China is the big bad boogeyman trying to get into this country and destroy it from within. Now, let me get back to the website here. Okay, here we go. And this is very important. Already more than 1,000 visas of Chinese students with ties to the PLA have been revoked. DOJ officials have made it clear that this group of students is different from the previous group of over 1,000 who fled the country in prior months. Even as U.S. officials continue to fight Chinese espionage, the future of these efforts is now in doubt. These efforts thrived under the administration of President Donald Trump, who has largely been critical of China and the CCP's Democratic presidential, and the CCP now, Democratic presidential nominee, president-elect, if you will, mainstream media, Joe Biden, or Lion Biden, or whatever you want to call him, on the other hand, is generally seen as being more friendly towards China. Remember, he mumbled a few years ago something along the lines of, the growth of China is good. Or something like that, right? Now, how is the growth of a communist party that wants to kill Americans and take over our country a good thing? Joe, Mr. Wannabe President of the United States? Why is our possible president-elect saying that our number one enemy's growth is important to us here, and when they're plotting to destroy us here? I mean, who are you working for, Joe Biden? Seriously, I mean, what's going on? How can we have a president who is working for the other side, not for our common interest? That can't happen. And I mean, if you guys don't show up on January 6th to the rallies, and don't show up and vote in Georgia, and you guys allow this to happen to this country, my goodness, what we're facing is really bad. I mean, Joe did say this. He said the darkest days are ahead of us. Then, you reading along here? This is very true, and that might be the most truest thing that Joe Biden's ever said. Okay, now it says, and I'm going to continue. It says here, and I'm almost done, by the way. Should the letter should Biden become president? The question then is, of course, the current efforts to curtail Chinese espionage in the U.S. will continue. This matter is complicated by the fact that Biden's son Hunter has had dealings with China corporations in the past, as we know. There's an open investigation, and it's quite possible that a Biden administration could reverse course on Trump's treatment of China. With what we now know, based on recent leaks and the government's own efforts, then China could stand to gain even more from its espionage efforts than it already has. Okay, so why is this important? It's, logical. It makes common sense, all right? You don't have to be a rocket scientist for this, fellas and gals, and kids, and whoever's watching globally. If your number one enemy controls the president of your country, he controls your country. Now, China already has bought a ton of our debt. So, technically, they've been buying us out for years. Right? And the monkey wrench in the entire scheme for them has been Donald Trump. Why? Because he's trying to keep America, right? That's why when he did the State of the Union, he said, America will never be a socialist communist country as long as I'm president. Now, I come from Cuba. As you can see, the flags in my background. One's America, one's Cuba. We know communism. We know socialism. From my brothers and sisters from Cuba and Venezuela and all these other countries who have experienced this disaster of political nightmare, we know what it is. So when I see people, young people, that are supposed to represent this country's future, and they're for these things, it just boggles my mind how, as a society and a species, we're just going back and redoing the past that's failed over and over again. People, wake the hell up. These leaks are important to look at. Okay, this is important information. When you have banks, corporations, you have spies. I mean, this entire thing leaking is a beautiful thing. I'm happy it's happening. I'm happy these companies are being, looked at. And we have to get these spies out of our country. We got to get to the bottom of the corruption in this country. And a lot of it has to do with the espionage, the spying, the stealing of intellectual properties. Remember, Trump was talking about all this. I mean, where the hell have you guys been? I know the media doesn't want to cover this. You wonder why? Because, again, they're all sold to communist China. Sporting industries are sold to communist China. Okay? LeBron James loves China, right? There's a reason for it. Use your head, guys. Use your mind. It's there for a reason. I'm agnostic, but whoever your God is, if you believe in a God, if you believe in a creator, you, whoever you are, believe that he gave you a mind, right? And a soul and the spirit, body, the whole thing, but he gave you a mind. Start using it. Start reading between the lines. This is not even reading between the lines. This is just in your face now. So we're about to hit 2021. It's very important you guys go out on January and make your voices heard on the 6th. Make sure you vote in Georgia. And we get the Senate. Right now, the Republicans are looking real shitty, but we need to keep the Senate. We cannot lose the Senate. We lose the Senate, we lose Georgia, it's game over. It's very important we keep it red. And Mitch McConnell and the Rhinos are really just doing a horrible job at representing the party. They really are. And we're taking names, by the way, guys. Those who are betraying the American people on the right and betraying our president, we're taking your names. And we're going to keep you accountable in the ballot box when it's time to go vote. Remember that. Just remember that part. Guys, that's all I have for you right now. Until next time, my next video, we'll be back with, I'm sure, more interesting stuff coming out from the world of politics or the world of news, whichever it might be. But if you like what you heard and saw, please do me a favor. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear your interaction and get your opinion and read what you have to say on the matter. Also, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. That's very important. And check me out on my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/Angel Espino. Also, my main website, angelespino.com. Please go on there. Check the site out. By the way, you can find me every week, twice a week actually, on Thursdays and on Sundays, 10 p.m. Eastern, on psn-radio.com, live on audio and video. And starting Mondays, you'll find me on YouTube doing a Q&A every Monday night for about an hour to 2 hours live. And it's not to have interviews. It's just going to be me and you, the audience. And we're going to be talking about a lot of news and a lot of stuff live on the internet. Until then, guys, we'll catch you again. Stay safe, stay sound, stay COVID, Kung Flu free. I'm Angel Espino. You're not. Talk to you then. Peace.